Hi guys, Dr. Ram Cheravu here. I want to talk to you about a fight that happened last night between Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz. This was a heavyweight bout between these two giants in the heavyweight field, and actually Anthony Joshua was the overwhelming favorite to win this fight, but interestingly Andy Ruiz won in a shock upset. He won by a technical knockout in the 7th round, in making him the first Mexican heavyweight world champion. So I'm not actually here to talk to you about boxing, but I'm here to talk to you about the lessons that we can learn from this fight. There's such thing as winning gracefully, but there's also such a thing as losing gracefully. And I really feel that Anthony Joshua, the way he conducted himself after the fight, there's a lesson to be learned on how to lose gracefully. Now, before the fight, it was pretty interesting contrast between the two fighters. Anthony Joshua, he's like 6'6" and almost 250 pounds, and one of the commentators described him as like a caricature, or like if you were to draw a comic book superhero of a boxer, you would draw Anthony Joshua. He's 6'6", he's just chiseled from the ground up, every muscle's defined, he's just a beast of a human being. He's won 22 times, and 21 of those times he's won by knockout. He's undefeated champion, heavyweight champion of the world, and he has a ton of different belts. And if you contrast that with Andy Ruiz, he's 6'2", he's 4 inches shorter. His reach, his arm span was 6 inches shorter than Anthony Ruiz. He weighs 270 pounds. He doesn't even look like an athlete. He has like a pot belly. He looks like he's eaten one too many donuts in his lifetime. And not only that, he actually wasn't even the original challenger. The previous challenger of Anthony Joshua had to drop out because he failed a drug test. And within a 4 weeks notice, Andy Ruiz stepped up. And it's hard to train for such a big heavyweight fight within 4 weeks. So needless to say, Anthony Joshua was the overwhelming favorite to win this fight. And in the 7th round, Andy Ruiz actually won by technical knockout. But what's most interesting to me about this fight was actually the post-fight interview. I'm weird. I actually like watching the post-fight interviews much more than the actual fight itself. There's a lot of egos and a lot of arrogance in boxing, and when someone loses, they tend to start blaming everyone else. Oh, it was the refs. Oh, it was the opponent had some unfair advantage, whatever it might be. There's a lot of huge egos that don't allow someone to lose gracefully. And there's a common saying that you can really judge someone's characters by the challenges that they face. When someone fails, their true character comes out. And I really feel like Anthony Joshua's true character as a great human being came out. The first thing that I learned from Anthony Joshua in the post-fight interview is that he was so congratulatory towards not only Andy Ruiz, but his entire team, his coaches, his trainers, and so on and so forth. He was saying, Andy Ruiz was the better man in today's fight. And the bigger thing that I learned from this is the responsibility that Anthony Joshua took. He kept on saying, it was my fault. I'm the only one to blame for this. It was not my team. It was my own fault. And what was interesting is the reporters, when they're asking him these post-fight interview questions, they kept on trying to give him an out so he can make some excuse as to why he lost. One of his biggest rivals, a fight that's a big anticipated fight between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, is supposed to happen. There's a lot of talks. It fell through, and maybe they're talking about maybe it's supposed to happen next year. It's a much anticipated bout, but Deontay Wilder today, the same day as the fight, he actually announced that he was going to be fighting Tyson Fury, which was also another big bout. So one of the reporters asked him, hey, was that a distraction, the fact that Deontay Wilder announced his fight on the same day? And Anthony Joshua said, I acknowledge that, that fight, but I can't blame that. I can't blame that as a distraction or anything like that. It was my fault that I lost this fight. One reporter asked, was there an injury? You took a long time getting out of the dressing room before the fight. Was there something going on? And Anthony Joshua said, no, I was fine. There was an issue with a piece of my equipment, and that took some time to get fixed. Nothing wrong with me. I was at full capacity at this fight. I have no excuse for losing. One reporter asked him, hey, did you underestimate Andy Ruiz potentially going into this fight? And Anthony Joshua emphatically just responded, no, I don't underestimate anyone before going into a fight. Andy Ruiz is a boxer, he's a warrior, he's a champion. I knew that going in. So he full up owned to the fact that, hey, I can't blame the fact that I maybe underestimated my opponent. But one of the best things that I loved about the post-fight interview was, hey, the ref, there's often a controversy that the ref calls a fight too early, and that the ref stopped the fight maybe a little too early than the boxer was ready to give up. And Anthony Joshua, one of the reporters asked him about that. Hey, did the ref call the fight a little bit too early? And Anthony Joshua said something really wonderful. He's like, no, you know what? I will never blame the referees for stopping a fight. The referees are doing their job, and they're out to look out for our safety. But he also said that if I wanted to win the fight, I wouldn't have hit the canvas. I would have fought better. Right? He said, I'm not going to blame the referees for my loss. I should have fought better. Right? It was my fault. He took 100% responsibility. And this is just it was really inspiring. It's so inspiring to me that's why I wanted to make this video. One of my favorite books in leadership is Extreme Ownership by Leif Babin and Jocko Willink. And as a true leader steps up and takes responsibility for any failures that happen. And they say, hey, the buck stops on me. Anything that happens that didn't go according to plan, hey, I should have done something different. I should have tweaked my plan ahead of time and approached things a little bit differently. It's not my team's fault. It's not my trainer's fault. It's not the manager's fault. It's not the opposition's fault. It's my own fault that I could have prepared maybe a little bit better, a little bit differently for this fight. And the other thing that I loved about the way Anthony Joshua approached this post-fight interview is that, you know what, this is going to be a learning opportunity. Yeah, it's a setback. Yeah, I lost, but hey, we can only keep looking forward, and we can only learn from this opportunity and keep moving forward. He's like, I'm going to come back bigger and stronger and come back to my next fight even better. And he also alluded to the fact that, it's my nature. I'm a boxer at heart. I'm not a loser, I'm a winner at heart, and I'm gonna come back tomorrow. He's like, I wanna go back to the drawing board tomorrow. I wanna get back into the studio tomorrow and figure out where I went wrong here and improve on those, close the gaps, and keep moving forward. And I love that forward-thinking attitude, even though in this face of this, the biggest failure of his career, potentially, and it was the only loss of his career, he was previously undefeated, he's like, you know what, I'm gonna look forward and see what I can learn from this and come back even bigger and even stronger from this. If there's a lesson to be taken for this, it's how to lose gracefully. Anthony Joshua, if you're watching this, you're an absolute class act. I was a big fan of yours before, and I'm an even bigger fan of you now because you are an absolute class act. And I think the boxing community and all other boxers can learn from you and how you handled this. And not only that, all sportsmen and all people around the world, when you're facing a setback and a failure like this, that how to lose gracefully and to push forward and to have a forward-thinking mindset. Thank you for being a role model, and I'll see you later. Thanks. This is Dr. Ram. Take care. Bye.